What's going on YouTube? So very rarely do you find a vehicle that ages as gracefully as this Volvo XC90. It still looks as beautiful as it did 8 years ago when this generation first debuted. And while they haven't changed the design much, they have made tons of other updates each year. 2023 is one of the largest year-to-year changes yet, since we have new mild hybrid powertrains, trim levels, and features on board. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into this review and see if this is still a top luxury three-row. So I've got to start off this review by talking about those trim level changes so you actually understand what I'm talking about throughout the rest of the video. So what we've gone to is a new arrangement. Our trim levels are now going to be Core, Plus, and Ultimate. And then separate from that, we also have exterior themes. Those are going to be Base, Bright, and Dark. So what's the point of this, you may be wondering? Well, now you can combine the equipment level and the exterior theme that you like independent from each other. So you could get maybe the inscription level equipment this year with the dark theme that looks like the R design from last year. Nevertheless, let's start talking about the actual exterior design itself. So this is the ultimate trim level. We also have the bright theme. So that means we're gonna have all the nice chrome elements throughout the exterior to make it look the most expensive it can. This is Volvo's, of course, typical grille, and like I said, if you choose the dark theme, this would be all blacked out. Let's move over here to our signature Volvo headlights. These continue to be some of my favorite designed headlights in the entire auto industry. Of course, they are going to be full LED. We also have active bending abilities inside of them as well. You've got all the nice crystal design through there, and then your signature Thor's hammer daytime running light and turn signal indicator. And then finally, down below, you do also have standard LED fog lamps. All right, let's go ahead and talk wheel options. So you do have 19, 20, and 21-inch alloys as standard equipment, respectively, on the Core, Plus, and Ultimate trim levels. Now you can also option on various other wheel choices, going all the way up to 22-inch alloys. But as far as these, I really like the way these look. These are 21 inches. This is a design that you've seen probably over the past several years, but it continues to look really, really nice with all the contrasting elements. Also want to point out a ground clearance, because you can get an optional 4-corner air suspension on the XC90 in the Ultimate trim level, and when you choose that, you would be able to raise the vehicle up to 10.4 inches of ground clearance. Now as we come up here to our mirrors, Volvo makes this nice and simple because every version is going to be fully loaded with all the features. So that means you are going to have blind spot monitoring, you're going to have power folding, auto dimming, as well as heating.
All right guys, so here at the side of the XC90, I want to mention just a few things. First of all, we'll talk about the overall length. That's not going to change for 2023 as you would expect. So we're looking at 195 inches, which places it as a very solid offering in terms of its overall length. Now, as far as some of the design elements going on, of course, it's a beautiful design, as any XC90 has been for the last few years. We have nice chrome trim down here at the bottom, chrome window surrounds, as well as a chrome roof rail up at the top, since we do have that really nice Ultimate trim level that has the Ultimate Prestige. Now, of course, you can get those elements darked out if you would prefer that type of sportier look. Now, as far as the rear design is concerned, once again, nothing's going to change for 2023. So we have a signature Volvo design, and I think this might be my favorite Volvo on the outside. If I'm going to be honest, guys, this is a beautiful vehicle, still is in 2023. Volvo spat out across the back. We have our exposed rear wiper right there, and then let's look at our taillights. These are going to be your full-length LED taillights. They kind of wrap around the tailgate area itself. Your brake light as well as your turn signal are both LED. However, the reverse light is actually incandescent, so that's a little bit of a disappointing touch for the XC90. If we drop down to the lower area, we have some more chrome trim. All of this is going to be nicely body colored. No exposed exhaust outlets on any XC90. That was eliminated in 2022. And then as far as your tow rating is concerned, you're looking at 5,000 pounds. Now, Volvos are known for their safety, and that is going to continue for this XC90 since they are throwing in every single safety system as standard equipment on the XC90. So it's going to be forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane keeping assist, auto high beam headlamps, as well as adaptive cruise control with the pilot assist driving assistant. Now, in terms of your warranty, you're looking at Volvo's signature warranty, 4-year 50,000 mile basic and powertrain warranty. Volvo is also including 3 years and 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance as well. But guys, that's going to wrap up the exterior design of this beautiful denim blue XC90. I hear there's a beautiful amber interior going on, so let's go ahead and check that out.
So walking up to the XC90, you do continue to find a standard smart entry system, and you can remote start the vehicle via the Volvo application. As far as the fob, this is their typical key fob. It is plastic since they did eliminate the leather option due to wear and tear concerns starting last year. And then to get inside, just reach behind the handle. Your mirrors will also fold outward. And there's a quick look at the beautiful amber interior on this Ultimate model, and we'll go ahead and climb inside. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our material and color selections right off the bat. So the base model, the Core B5, that's going to come with leatherette seating. However, if you go up to the Plus trim level or the Core with the B6 engine option, that's going to get you real leather seating. And then when you go up to the fully loaded Ultimate, which of course is what we have today, that's going to get you the full Napa leather, and you have a lot more color choices with this. So you've got the choice between blonde, charcoal, maroon, amber, or slate, and you can also option on a wool if you prefer. So really a lot of choices. These seats continue to be some of the most lovely in the entire auto industry. The leather quality, of course, is fantastic, but you have a lot of adjustability as well. They're super comfortable. On the Ultimate trim level, you add to the standard 10-way, you add a 4-way lumbar, bolsters, as well as thigh extension. And then if you choose the top-end lounge package, that's also going to get you power massage. But let's continue to look around the cabin, because of course the XC90 has always been known for having a really beautiful cabin that's won a lot of awards throughout this generation. So across our armrest here, we do have leather. We have the same amber leather above that. And then we do have a dark open pore wood. Depending on which color option you choose, the wood will change, but you do always have the wood for the most part. Across the top, you do have the leatherette trim on the Ultimate, and that same tailored dashboard with leatherette is going to extend across all the upper areas on the Ultimate trim level and down through here. Again, you'll find more of the beautiful open pore wood, more of the wood right through there, and then you got the amber leather that runs around the side there for your knee to rest against, and everything does fit together very nicely. Now, as typical with Volvos, to start it up, you're just going to twist this knob. So there are quite a few changes to the interior, and one of the first things is going to be this gauge cluster. So this is the upgraded gauge cluster that some of the other Volvos got last year that has now made its way to the XC90, and it is much improved. Of course, you do have the new software, which we'll talk about in the main infotainment section, but in terms of the screen itself, it is a lot higher resolution, it's a lot less reflective, and as you can see right there in the middle, you do have that really nice map display, which you can kind of turn on, or you can go for a more classic look with it off. And certain parts of the design do change a little bit depending on your drive modes. Up top, you will also find a nice head-up display if you choose the Ultimate trim level. Now, as we pull back here to the steering wheel, of course, you do have the typical Volvo design. It's going to be nice and leather wrapped. Depending on the interior color selection, you might get a two-tone steering wheel, which is pretty cool. The wheel itself is going to be manual tilt and telescoping across every single trim level, and heating starts on the Plus trim level for 2023. But let's go ahead and turn over here next to our interior storage. So lifting up our center console here, you're going to find a decent amount of storage, pretty good size. It is going to be felt lined on the sides and also rubber lined on the bottom, which you can remove if that gets dirty and clean it off. You do also have a USB-C port as well, but let's put it to the test. Gotta stick these coupons in here and see how they fit. Bingo, it's gonna fit no problem whatsoever. Now, in addition to that, you're gonna have a little bit more storage. So if you slide that piece of wood back, that's where you're gonna find your 2 cup holders. You got a little storage area right there, 12-volt outlet. And then if you push that piece back, you have another little storage area, good for maybe your key fob or something like that. I do want to point out, though, that for 2023, probably because of a chip shortage issue, we don't have a wireless phone charging pad on any of the models anymore. All right, so let's pull back here to our shifter. So you can probably tell right off the bat, we have something pretty nice on board. So one of the 2023 changes is the fact that the physical shifter is gone this year. We've gone to a straight electronic shifter instead. You have the leather covered one that's hollow in the middle for most of the trim levels, but if you choose the ultimate trim level, no matter which engine choice, you're gonna get this, the genuine crystal shifter. This is absolutely lovely. One of the very nicest shifters in the entire auto industry. It's so solid, it looks absolutely beautiful. And of course, operation is not going to be complicated or anything. You're just going to pull back for drive. You can go back once more to go into a manual mode, but there are not any paddle shifters on the steering wheel. Press all the way up to the top, and that will activate your rear camera. As you can see, this is the standard view with the parking sensors at the top. You can also press that button right there, and then that will bring up your 360-degree overhead view. And that's going to be included on the plus trim level and above. And then for park, just press the P, and you do also have an electronic parking brake with a brake hold function located right behind it. As we continue making our way through the cabin, the next place we come to is this row of buttons, which is mostly for your audio controls. So you do have a standard 10-speaker sound system on board with the XC90. You also get a 600-watt 14-speaker Harman Kardon premium audio system as standard equipment if you choose the ultimate trim level. And that's what we have on board, so let's give it a sample right now. Yes, so overall sound quality of this system is certainly top-notch. I do love the real metal speaker grills built into the door trim as well. And if you want to get even more bougie, you can also option on a 19-speaker 1400-watt Bauer & Wilkins premium audio system, which we did get to sample a few years back, and that's certainly one of the best sound systems in the entire auto industry. Okay, so let's move on to our main display. This is another area where we're going to notice quite a few 2023 changes. So the big thing is that we've now switched to the Android Automotive OS infotainment system. So what that's going to do is replace the Sensus layout as you may have been used to if you had a Volvo in the past. But the overall layout is actually pretty similar. The features just are backed up by Google, more or less. So you have things like your Google Maps that are baked right into the system itself. And as you can see, that looks very nice. It takes up the whole 9-inch display, which it is a standard 9-inch display, by the way. You do have built-in Apple CarPlay as well. So even though this is an Android Automotive system, it does still have CarPlay, in case you were wondering about that. Now, the bottom part is going to be dedicated to your climate controls, so you can adjust your temperature as easy as that right there. And if you click on that, that's going to pull up the whole menu where you have all the full adjustments. So we can change our fan speeds, our temperature for both driver and passenger separately. And then up here at the top, this is where we can also control the other zones, because this is a standard 4-zone automatic climate control setup. So we can turn on and off the second row and also for the third row as well. Now this button right here, this is where you're going to find your heated and ventilated seats. 3-stage heated seats are going to be standard equipment on every XC90. And then 3-stage ventilated seats, those are going to be part of the Ultimate model for 2023. Now as we rise on up here, we will find a auto dimming mirror with 3 HomeLink universal remotes built into it. It does have the nice frameless design. Up top here, we've got our LED lighting. We also have a new controller for the panoramic sunroof. So you actually just swipe back on that touch sensitive pad. That's going to start the sunshade sliding back quite quickly, and as you can see, you do have a very large panoramic sunroof. This is included on every single version, and the front portion of this panel does open up.
Well guys, come on back here and see what all the XC90's rear seat has to offer. Now, as usual, I will go ahead and talk about the space first before we head into some of the luxury amenities. There are a lot of luxury amenities, as you would expect out of any premium Volvo SUV. Now, talking about the space first, we're looking at 37 inches of legroom, 8.5 inches of headroom. So definitely a quite large headroom figure. As you can see, I'm 5'9". Look at how much headroom I have left over, and also look at how much knee space I have left over, probably 6 inches or so with the seat adjusted to Drew's 5'8" driving position. My feet can easily slide up underneath the seat, and if you're curious about how that compares to rivals, that is going to actually slot in as one of the lower ones in the segment. That's less than the Acura MDX as well as the Audi Q7, probably its 2 main rivals. Now, as far as some of the luxury features you're going to get, though, let's go ahead and hop into that. So here in the center, we do have a really nice digital screen here. At the very top left corner and right corner, you're going to have your 3-stage heated rear seat controls. That's going to be included on the Plus trim levels and above. And then if we drop down below that, you have your vents. And you're also going to notice if you press that little lock button that you also have 4-zone climate control. So you will have your each independent temperature adjustment back here for the rear passengers. And then we can also pop this open. That's going to include 2 USB Type-C ports. Now, we're not done yet, because here in the center we do have a fold-down armrest. That includes 2 cup holders inside. Then if we fold that up, you're also going to notice that we have this piece right here. So you know Volvo's all about family and safety, so they have included an integrated booster seat. That's actually going to be standard on the Plus trims and above. So all but that base model will have that feature. And then turning to your door trim, you are going to have a really nice one. It's going to have a nice leather wrapping on the upper part. We also have rear window sunshades. That's included on the ultimate trim level of the XC90. If we drop below that, all of your armrest portion is going to be nicely padded, some wood trim as well. We also have a little bit of door storage in the bottom, and I also want to point out that you're going to have B-pillar vents as well, in addition to these right here. Now, the XC90 has a 3rd row. Of course, that's one of the reasons why you get this over at XC60. So let's go ahead and hop on back there and see how that's like. Now, I do also want to point out one thing that I did forget to mention in the 2nd row area is that you can get captain's chairs. So you would have 6 passenger seating in the XC90. So you can kind of remove that middle seat if you really need the captain's chairs and need to divide your kids up so they don't fight. So you just grab this little lever right here. That will fold the seat forward and allow you to slide it out of the way. Although, I will say this is one of the harder 3rd rows to get into because this seat is pretty heavy and it can be a little finicky in getting into the 3rd row itself. I would prefer them to just put a button or something to get back here. Now, as far as the 3rd row itself is concerned, it is a very nice one. It is worth noting you only have 2 seats back here, so don't expect that you're going to be able to fit 3 people back here. But these seats are actually really quite comfortable. We're looking at 32 inches of legroom. These seats are slid all the way back. I still have a little bit of legroom. I mean, my knees are pretty much touching the rear seat back, but it's actually pretty comfortable. My feet can also slide up underneath of the seat. And if you're looking for a space figure, it's going to be 32 inches of rear legroom, 36 inches of headroom, which is actually larger than the Acura MDX as well as the Audi Q7. Now, as far as some of your features back here, we do have a little storage cubby onto the left side. We have a cup holder as well, and we're also going to have vents integrated into the C-pillar, which is something that the Audi Q7 and Acura MDX do not have. Now, walking up to the tailgate of the XC90, they are going to be very nice and give you a hands-free power tailgate as standard equipment on every single model. So you won't have to go to the higher end trim levels to get that feature. So just kick your foot under the bumper right there. And as you can see, it does work quite well. Now we're looking at a good amount of space in this cargo area as well. You're looking at a little less than 16 cubic feet with the third row in place, 42 cubic feet if you fold the third row down, and as a maximum you're looking at 85.8 cubic feet of cargo capacity, so quite a lot of space. It's actually going to be larger than the Acura MDX for sure, actually by about 15 cubic feet, so that's a pretty significant advantage. Now as far as other finishings back here, we'll go ahead and talk about that. We do have some LED lighting on both the sides. We have a 12-volt outlet as well on the right side. I do want to point out though that you do not have a power folding third row available at all. So you just fold those seats down like this. So that's definitely not a problem to get the seats folded down. That said, in order to fold these third row seats back up, there's not a strap or anything to get them back up. So you kind of have to go to the second row, fold those seats down, push these up from the second row. It makes it a lot more complicated than need be. So I would like to see Volvo maybe add a power folding third row for the next generation XC90. Now your passenger seat is going to be quite a lot of ways of adjustment. It's going to be the same ways as the driver. We do even still have the power thigh extension. I love these seats, guys. In addition to that, we're also going to have 3-person memory seating for this higher end XC90 model. Then if we open up the glove box, you do that by pressing this button, since there's actually not a handle on the glove box itself, and that's going to reveal a ton of space. I love this glove box, guys. It is a couponer's dream because, first of all, it's nicely felt lined, and then it's just really, really large. So today we're going to go to Donato's, and the coupon of the day is $2 off any large 14-inch pizza. I'd actually search for that coupon. So you can just throw those in there. Definitely will swallow them up. Now up top we have a sun visor. We also have some LED lighting as well as a mirror, and we can detach the visor. However, there is no extension in the end.
And there was an acceleration up to 60 miles per hour with the 2023 XC90. So, as you may have heard me mention in the introduction of the video, the big news for 2023, along with the tech upgrades, is the powertrain upgrades. So they have switched this to mild hybrid powertrains. Those are now designated by B5, B6, and then you have the T8 recharge model still. That's going to add a 48-volt mild hybrid basically to a similar powertrain to what you had last year. We have the B6, so that corresponds with the previous T6. That's going to be a 2-liter turbo and supercharged engine combined with the 48-volt mild hybrid system for 295 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah, and I will say we've sampled out this mild hybrid setup in a lot of different Volvos. We've been reviewing a lot of Volvos since all the new ones are coming out right now, and it is incredibly smooth on the auto start stop. It also does, help you to get better fuel economy. It just improves the overall feel of this XC90 a lot in terms of the powertrain department. Now, if you're curious about some of the other engine options, they do have a B5, and that's going to be the standard model. That's going to be just a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, so no supercharger on that one. It does still get the mild hybrid setup, 247 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. I would recommend getting the B6, and I imagine most people who buy an XC90 do get the B6 because that does seem a little bit weak on the power front for an XC90. That said, we've never sampled that out, so I might be wrong on that. Now, if you want the Recharge Extended Range T8 model, that's going to be the horsepower king in the XC90 lineup. Also, it's going to be, your more efficient option. 455 horsepower for that model, 523 pound-feet of torque. Pure EV range is going to be 32 miles for that model.
Yeah, so that's, of course, really quite powerful. A big jump in power over this model between that. And we've driven that in the smaller XC60, and
it's fast.
It is fast. It is really fast. Not to mention, over 30 miles of pure electric range. So that's certainly a good bet if you're looking for electrification. But with the mild hybrid system, that means it's going to be running, on gas power, but powering, like Mason had mentioned, advanced auto start stop primarily is the function of it. But with the introduction of these models, now the entire Volvo lineup is hybridized in some way. And let's go ahead and talk about the other aspects of the powertrain. So we do have an 8-speed automatic transmission on board. Nice and smooth, just like it is in all the Volvo products. And also I do want to mention one change, and that's the fact that you have standard all-wheel drive for 2023.
Yep.
Previously you could get the base motor in front-wheel drive configuration. That's going to be eliminated this year, so you're going to start at the B5 all-wheel drive level.
And since all-wheel drive is standard, that does simplify your fuel economy measures for the 2023 XC90. So we're looking at 22, 28, 25 combined for the B5 model. B6 is 22 mpg combined, and then T8 Recharge obviously doesn't have a full mpg figure because it is electrified, but you're looking at a 58 mpg rating. But guys, I do want to just go ahead and mention your ride quality for the XC90. Now that we're finally out of a little bit of traffic and we can, cruise along going 50 miles an hour, the XC90 has always really impressed me in terms of ride quality. It does an excellent job. I don't even have to mention this. You probably have already heard. Drew probably said it on the inside as well. The seats are incredibly comfortable. I mean, these are the best seats, hands down, in the auto industry. So good. And the ride quality, like I was saying, got distracted with the seats, but the ride quality is really good. You also have the optional 4-corner air suspension as well, so that's going to further enhance your ride quality if this is not good enough for you.
Yeah,
but I do
we
think
don't even have that right now on this one.
I don't think you need it really, because this is really good ride quality.
Yeah, this auto start-stop system, guys, is really, really excellent. You cannot feel it turn off or back on. It definitely impresses. Yeah, so the overall acceleration is pretty strong. I would say it's about in line with what the main competition is offering.
Yeah.
With the B6 version, that is.
Let's go ahead and get a sound level reading going 55. .9 decibels. Really excellent reading. This Volvo XC90 definitely has an overall very premium feel when you drive it, and that sound level is definitely part of that. Alrighty guys, and now it's time for one of our signature elements with any Car Confections review, our airball and slam dunk. What's our favorite element? What's an area that we could maybe see a little bit of improvement on? And for us, we think the slam dunk just has to be the overall design inside and out. This vehicle is beautiful. As Drew has said, very few vehicles, I can really not think of any vehicle that I think still looks so good so good on the outside that's 8 years old at this point. Like, this has been out for a long time, guys, and it is beautiful. It really is. This is just one of those designs, it never ages.
Except for maybe one thing. That's going to be our airball for today. I do love the new software that they've done on here. I like that they're keeping that up to date. I just wish the screen itself was larger. 9 inches when this first came out was like, wow, that's humongous. Now 9 inches is rather small. Yeah, so I definitely like to see this extended out to fill up a little bit more space.
And I do also want to talk about our pricing information for the 2023 XC90. So for the base model with the base powertrain, the Core B5, you're looking at a $56,000 price tag this year. Plus is going to start at $59,900, and then the Ultimate is going to be $69,200. And you might think that sounds like a price jump, but that's because the Ultimate is only available with a base engine B6. So you can't get a B5 Ultimate. So that's going to be a lot of that price increase itself. Now this model, as tested, we're looking at a $71,460 price tag when we factor in the $1,095 destination charge, as well as just a few added accessories.
I do like that you can hear both the turbo and the supercharger. It's pretty cool. But overall, it continues to be very easy to recommend the Volvo XC90. This has long been one of our favorite luxury 3 rows because it's very strong in a lot of areas. And like I mentioned at the beginning, one of the best things about this is that Volvo has continually refined this formula to make it better and better each year, and I can confidently say that for 2023 they have improved it in several ways.
Well guys, thanks so much for watching this in-depth review of the 2023 Volvo XC90 Ultimate. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps us out to get access to cooler cars to show you all, so it's actually helping you out by subscribing as well. Now also follow us on TikTok and Instagram, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.